Hey everybody, it's Jim here, and I'm a huge fan of offset guitars, the Jazzmaster, the Jaguar, and the Fender Mustang. I've had several people ask me what I thought about the new Vintera 2 refresh of the offsets, and I haven't been able to give an honest answer since I have not played one. Well, that's about to change momentarily. We're going to unbox a new Vintera 2 Mustang. I'm going to put it on the bench, we'll take a quick look at it, and then we'll give it a full playthrough through the Tone King Gremlin amplifier. I got this guitar from Sweetwater, but it was not provided to me by Sweetwater. So, very big difference there. I just want everybody to know that going into today's video. I do, however, have affiliate links both to Sweetwater if you're in the USA or to Tolman, as well as our own shop where you can pick up an Audiomo shirt, mug, or a canvas. And that really all does help out to make things like this possible. With all that out of the way, let's just unbox this thing. Now, one of the reasons that I like buying guitars from Sweetwater is because I'm a stickler on weight, and also I really prefer guitars that have a darker rosewood fingerboard if it's going to come with a rosewood fingerboard. In some places online, you don't get to see the guitar first. With Sweetwater, you do. So I actually picked this guitar out. So hopefully it lives up to what I hope it can be. That is a freaking gnarly finish. It's almost like purple. Yeah. Huh. Competition burgundy. Cool. That feels pretty similar to my vintage Fender Mustang, which was also made in the early 70s. So let's get this on the bench and we'll take a closer look. Right out of the gate here, I'm going to start with a major positive, and that is this competition burgundy finish. It is stunning in person, much better looking than I had even anticipated from what the pictures showed at Sweetwater's website. It really does have this lovely purple hue that goes around the perimeter of the guitar that bursts into a blue. It's gorgeous. I don't know what else to say about that, but one thing I did want to comment on and see for myself, other people who have gotten this model of instrument from the Vintera 2s have said the racing stripe, you could feel it a little bit almost over the body, and I'm happy to report on this one, no, it's smooth. So that's not an issue that we have, although the actual location and placement of the stripe isn't truly vintage correct, and even the Japanese models, I feel, did a better job of putting it in the right area and size-wise. However, I think it looks really good overall. This is the Mustang bridge. It's a 7¼ inch radius, and what's cool about this bridge is you don't have to adjust the heights of any of the individual saddles. It's all done for you to match the curved radius of this neck. That's always something that's really nice to have, and you do have the dynamic vibrato. However, this guitar did not ship with the Allen key needed so that we could tighten the vibrato arm into the unit, and that's pretty unfortunate because if you're not like me and you don't have a million tools lying around, you wouldn't be able to use this thing out of the box. So that was kind of a bummer, but really not the end of the world. Onto the electronics here, you do have two lower output single coil pickups, and you do have your traditional switches right here. When they are in the middle, both pickups are off. This one will control the neck pickup. This one will control the bridge pickup, and you can use them in a variety of ways and get that awesome, amazing, out-of-phase Mustang sound that provides a honk that is really unique to this instrument. On the back of the body, you do see the F-stamped neck plate, as well as the period-correct tummy cut. The original first runs of Fender Mustangs did not come with that. That was added in later on in production. And as far as quality control goes, before we move on to the neck, I don't really see any problems whatsoever with this guitar. Very well done. Very well done indeed. So we're at the neck, and this is the part that a lot of people were really excited about when they saw the first pictures of the Vintera 2s. Originally, the Vinteras came with a Pal-Ferro fingerboard. These have a rosewood fingerboard, which I actually really preferred. I feel like if you're going to make a vintage reissue, you might as well try to get things like that right. Otherwise, it's just going to look a little bit off. Not that there's anything wrong with Pal-Ferro. This just looks better to me for this kind of guitar. You have a synthetic nut here. And as far as the fret edges go, actually not bad, not sharp whatsoever. Now I'm going to take some measurements real quick. Just a hair over 42 millimeters at the nut and a little over 51 millimeters at the 12th fret. 0.85 at the first fret, 0.89 at the 12th fret. Finally, the fit and finish of the neck and the frets themselves here. I already stated earlier that these are pretty smooth, and that's a big plus in my book, and that's not always the case in my own experience. And as far as the fingerboard itself goes, yes, we did switch to rosewood, and yes, this absolutely could benefit from a little bit of lemon oil or F1 oil. I did notice that there's a lot of kind of white lines underneath each individual fret. It's hard to kind of see. That's why I zoomed in a little bit here, but it's a little strange, and they do seem to kind of wipe away. It's just odd that it wouldn't be something that wouldn't get wiped down from the factory. Before I put the strings back on this guitar, I did take the time to polish the frets, to oil the fingerboard, and set this thing up to my liking. Now we're ready for the sound demonstrations. We're going to be using the Tone King Gremlin combo amp, mic'd up by the SM57. The drive will be from the Benson preamp at various levels of gain, as well as some effects from the Strymon Bellante in the form of reverb and maybe a smidge of delay. Without really intending to, I ended up taking a different approach to the sound demonstrations for this guitar. I try to keep things pretty clean, a little bit of reverb here and there unless I'm doing something surf related that's appropriate for the genre. But with this guitar, I found myself almost forgetting that I was filming for YouTube, which is a very high compliment for a guitar. And I was working on that one riff in A where I was descending down chromatically, and it just made me want to play, made me want to write. And I also left in a few clips that weren't played perfect whatsoever. I didn't really have the bother in me, to be honest with you, to make this kind of a sparkling, pristine, best take thing. I was just enjoying myself playing this guitar. And honestly, after setting this thing up, it did get a little bit buzzy. I had adjusted the truss rod maybe just a hair too much. I'll have to back off of it later on. But let me tell you a few things about this guitar. First things first, fret edges really were pretty smooth when I was playing it. I had no complaints. Tuning stability as well was fantastic with the bar. I didn't find myself using it all that much though. Outside of that, when I did first get the guitar and I sat with it after I was on the bench and I had this thing reassembled, the factory setup kind of left me with a lot to be desired. The strings were really, really high off the fingerboard. Bridge was all the way jacked up. Same thing with the cigar bar, and that's kind of a recipe for disaster. You want a lot of tension on these instruments, especially with the cigar bar, at least in my book, if you're going to be using the arm here to keep things in tune. Very important to do so. So this did take me about a half hour to really dial in the way that I would be comfortable playing it. So my advice would be, compared to buying a Japanese Fender Mustang, which I've had countless number of those, I've never had to put this much time into a guitar that was brand new. Maybe just a lot for that. And if you're not familiar with Fender Mustangs, take the time to learn. You can do it on your own. It's not that intimidating. It is just a bit of a process. It's great though. Once you can dial it in, there's nothing really to complain about. The sounds of this guitar, it was really bright, and I felt like on the treble pickup, if I roll back the tone knob just almost halfway, I feel like that's really where my neutral kind of stance would be with the bassline sounds of the guitar. The neck pickup, really crisp, really clear, and all the fun in between combinations. It's just a joy of the Fender Mustang. I had a lot of fun with this guitar. I like this guitar a lot more than I expected to, and honestly, I wasn't sure what to expect. It's been a while since I played a brand new Fender Mexico guitar extensively, and this has been a very pleasant surprise. None of the typical kinds of problems that you hear about with these guitars on this specific one. So either I got really lucky, or maybe they are doing a pretty decent job. But that's all I really have for you guys today. I apologize if this one ended up being a little bit different, but let me know in the comments section down below, what do you think about this new line of Vinteras? Do you think that they're worth the money, just the fact that, you have different color combinations and really you're switching from Pal Ferro to Rosewood? Or would you rather, if you were in this kind of price range, go for something else, maybe one of the original Vinteras or something used from Japan? I'm always open to hearing what you guys think in the comments down below. But really, yeah, I think this guy's going to be a keeper. We're going to take the pick guard, kind of sticker off here and make it official, so to speak. Now that's more like it. The last thing before we get going today, I did mention earlier in this video that I have a real early 1970s Fender Mustang, and I went out of my way to not draw any comparisons between that guitar and this one because we're going to do a whole video dedicated to those two together. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I really do appreciate you, and if you appreciate me and you haven't already, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button. I hope you have a wonderful day, no matter where you are in this world. Don't forget to tell somebody in your life that you love, that you do love them. Play your guitar and get off the internet. Take a break once in a while. Take care, everybody.